Good morning, I'm Kristen Folletti and welcome to News Desk on SiliconANGLE TV for Tuesday, November 27th, 2012. What's the new trend in hacking? Also, another Facebook hoax is circulating. Has it hit your page yet? Joining us now to provide his breaking analysis on these stories is SiliconANGLE contributing editor John Casaretto. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
Back in September, a series of burglaries at a Hyatt Hotel in Houston had hotel management baffled. Now they believe that the rooms were opened using a device that takes advantage of a security vulnerability in keycard locks built by the lock company Onity, and is specifically a model of lock that appears in at least 4 million hotel rooms worldwide. Would you say that keycard hacking is a new trend we're starting to see, or has this been around for a while?
Well, we may see an uptick in this kind of thing, but it's definitely been around for a while. InfoSec practitioners have often dabbled in locksmithing as part of their toolkit for penetration tests, pen tests, and so on. And it provides a very valuable service. I mean, clearly there are this many hotel locks that had a problem and it fell through the cracks, through the engineering cracks, through the quality control, through the security aspect. They do a service. So this thing turned up, and again, it's good that we know that it's out there, but it's also an interesting situation that 4 million hotel rooms are potentially not very secure.
The security flaw was first publicly demonstrated by Cody Brocious, a 24-year-old software developer for Mozilla, at the Black Hat Hacker Conference in July of this year. Can you give us details on how he was able to replicate the keycard technology and open the lock?
Yeah, definitely. It all starts with access through a physical port, and through basically a low-tech, low-cost series of technology that more refined, they're able to replicate basically a weakness that's used for making the master keys and for opening locks that have had their batteries die. So it's basically able to spoof the device that's built inside and has complete access to all the memory on the device.
Now, does Onity offer up any sort of solution for this?
Yes, they do. They've got some low-tech, free solutions for it. You can block the port with some epoxy, would be one thing. The other thing that they also offer is changing of some screws to some more obscure screws that are part of the access to it. So and there's also a more expensive all-out swap of the underlying technology that is the weakness in the first point. So that's something that is there's a significant cost attached to it, and it doesn't look like a lot of people thus far have made that change.
Andy Greenberg, who reported on this for Forbes, said that Onity was asking the hotels to cover the cost of replacing the circuit boards in the locks. Blocking the locks port is the only free option they offered to provide. Assuming that many hotels may try to save some money and go with the blocked port solution, is there anything hotel guests can do to circumvent their lock from being hacked?
That's the unfortunate part of this, is that they're looking at the hotels covering those costs. So in the end, the consumer, the hotel user, is going to end up having to cover that because Onity is not picking that up. In short, no, the hack is something that is really portable. It takes seconds to execute. There's been very public demonstrations of it being encompassed inside of an iPhone case, the barrel of a dry erase. Those concerned are they're arguably saying that this should not have been released. But that, the counter argument to that is that these vulnerabilities are being exploited privately, and it's happening anyway. And there's lots of people that are vulnerable because of this kind of thing. So this kind of thing is going on. If you check into a hotel, check to see if it's an Onity lock. Ask them that they at least try to at least block that hole if you're in the room. Use all the extra locks. But unfortunately, there's not much you can do in terms of leaving your hotel room, having that lock in place, and it's a vulnerability.
Another Facebook policy change sparked a flurry of status update repostings. While there was an actual data policy change, the mock status proclaimed the user's personal copyright is attached to all Their Facebook content and that the user's written content is needed at all times for commercial use. John, can you tell us more about what happened here and why there was so much confusion about this new policy?
Yeah, Facebook sent out an update on their privacy. Basically, it was called Updates to Data Use Policy and a Statement on Rights and Responsibilities. So what it covered was the whole spectrum of Facebook services. There was updates that allows them to obtain data from their affiliates, their advertising partners. The language, anytime Facebook sends an update like this regarding privacy, regarding policy and their usage, people get very upset or very disturbed in that they feel that their Facebook is their Facebook. When the truth of the matter is, when you sign up to use Facebook, you basically sign away the right for them to use the data however they want. You still own your data. If you put your copyrighted pictures and you're able, you sell these things or whatever the case might be, it's still yours. But what Facebook does with it is also something that you agree to when you sign up first on the site, and that's sell their information, share the information, and build a data profile that they do, much like Google, much like MSN, and all these different services do. There's nothing that's free, and everything has a cost to it, and that's basically what their business is.
So were any of the actual changes that Facebook made related to privacy?
Yeah, basically, it touched a bunch of things. Everything from affiliates with advertising partners. A lot of them had to do with the internal purchase of Instagram, and this allows them to improve the quality of their ads. Plenty of sites are already doing this. They match your information with the information that they already have, and information that they have on you, information that they align with the advertisers. They're also axing the ability for you to vote on policy changes. There was a change that was made some years ago that allowed people to vote on different policies and things like that, but they found in the end that not a lot of people were really participating. And in addition to that, there also was an announcement that you had the opportunity to vote on these particular changes, and it appears, based on the changes that are being proposed, it's kind of a self-imploding time bomb in that this won't, you won't be able to vote after this anyway. So this would be the last chance for you to vote.
The Electronic Privacy Information Center and the Center for Digital Democracy have urged Facebook to be responsive to the rights of Facebook users to control their personal information and to participate in the governance of Facebook. So what specifically are they wanting Facebook to do?
Well, they're looking for Facebook to back off of some proposed changes to its policies. They're saying that these policy changes are going to curb the rights of its 1 billion plus users, to make more information available to advertisers without the users explicitly consenting to these things. And they're saying that that's a violation of the privacy settlement with the FTC. So, they're looking for more interaction from Facebook in terms of, their privacy and more respect to privacy and things like that. Is, what they're asking, however, it may not be practical into Facebook's, best ends here. Again, they're watchdog groups. They're looking at these things, and they're looking at people's rights in terms of their privacy. So, it's a good thing that they're there and they're making us aware of some of these kinds of things, but it doesn't appear that this is anything that Facebook's actually going to be moving on.
In the future, how can Facebook users avoid rumors and be more educated on the subject of policy changes?
That's a very good question. I think it's going to take a lot of education in terms of controlling the message. I'm sure that they're working on tuning that. As you know, so many people are involved and they have a Facebook, and they update all these different things and give away all this information. Again, people feel this attachment to their profile and the information that they're putting out there, and they certainly don't want their privacy intruded upon. But what Facebook is most likely monitoring is how to control changes to that relationship. So in the long run, if they take too long to anticipate, like, hey, these coming changes, they're coming up in 3 months or 90 days from now or at the end of this month, that there's an opportunity for a lot of backlash. if it happens too fast and too quick, there's an opportunity there that people will be saying, hey, a lot of things are changing pretty quickly. There's a fine line between, a user's privacy and that relationship between Facebook to keep you willing and compliant to keep giving up that information. It's a fine line, and it's something that Facebook is certainly looking at and going to have to deal with in terms of privacy, and it's one of the big aspects of their business.
Well, John, thank you so much for your time this morning, and we'll talk with you again soon.
Thank you.
And remember, you can follow the news of the day and get the latest breaking analysis here at News Desk on SiliconANGLE TV.
Hey YouTube users, this is Elevator Dailies, and we're going on an elevator adventure. Today, we're going to learn how to ride an elevator. Step 1, come to the call station, press the button in the direction in which you go. You may want to stand to one side of the elevator as people may be exiting or entering the elevator. You should give courtesy to those who are disabled or those with small children, mainly in strollers, and let them board or exit the elevator first. Go ahead and click the call button, stand to the side. Okay, nobody's getting on or off the elevator. Next step, pay attention to where the elevator is in relation to the landing before entering or exiting. Never do this. This is dangerous. Always press the call button or press the door open button inside the elevator. The next step is to determine what floor you want to go to. In this example, we're going to go to the second floor, press the button, here we go. As another common courtesy, if there are multiple floors in the building, that is more than 2, people who are getting off on the higher floor should stand in the back. This way the people who are going to floors below them can get off the elevator faster. Back down. Now we're going to... Some elevators such as this will recall itself to another floor automatically. Here we are on the first floor. Again, pay attention to where the elevator is in relation to the landing before entering or exiting. If you see somebody else try to get off, no, don't do that. Do this. Door open. Let's take it for another ride. I want to point out a couple important safety features on the elevator. Up here is a stop switch. You only use this in an emergency. This is not a toy. Below this is the alarm bell. In case of an emergency, press alarm. Now, depending on the elevator, you will also have an emergency phone such as this. There may be a number for you to call, or you press a button for help. Again, this is only to be used in an emergency. Now, sometimes you get to your floor, the elevator door may not open. So what do you do in this situation? Well, we're going to go ahead and let the door close. If all else fails, press the door open button. Then exit the elevator. In the event the door open button does not work, use the alarm button or emergency phone instead. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Remember, elevator and elevator equipment are not toys. Safety first.
I'm Jeremiah Robinson. This is Rushing Waters Fisheries. We got a NRC SARE grant to build an aquaponics greenhouse here. This is going to be not like any other aquaponics greenhouse that has been built before. Oh, I've been growing using aquaponics, which is a combination of hydroponics and aquaculture. So fish provide the waste that grows the plants. Plants clean the water for 4 years now. And I've been teaching people how to do it for 2. And I've sort of built a reputation as the person who has worked with all the issues on growing in cold water. Typically, groups around the country grow in warm water with warm water fish. I grow in cold water with cold water fish. And so my barber, actually, is a very chatty person. He took a business card. He knows Peter, who runs this place. Gave him my business card and said he should call me. Peter called me, and we hit it off. So we decided to go for something. So Peter, who runs the fish farm, and his investors were extremely skeptical that there was ever going to be any money in this. And so, so without the grant, they would have remained just as skeptical. But as soon as I said, hey, if you're willing to spend 10, we can get you, you know, or if you're willing to spend 15,000, we can get you another 15. He said, all right, we'll do that. So no way this would have happened otherwise. This is a flow-through trout aquaculture facility. So it's spring-fed, trout live in the ponds, the water runs through the ponds and then goes down into the creek, which ends up in various rivers and waterways, and in the Rock River watershed, I think, is where it ends up. So the things that make this project unique, and from a hydroponic greenhouse perspective, this is absolutely minuscule. This is tiny. So this is just an experiment. We're just checking to see if this will work. What we're hoping will happen is 2 things. One is we'll be able to grow vegetables using this water, which has been fertilized by the trout that we have here on site, which is an experiment. We don't really know if it'll work. It's been tested at a university level, you know, in controlled lab conditions, but on an actual farm it has not been tested. We're going to try it in a few different ways. We have a few grow beds that are built as, you know, 3 in parallel, so we'll be able to grow in 3 different ways. Also in 3 in parallel, so we can try a variety of different growing methods using 3 different sources of nutrients. We're going to use the water from the fish ponds, we're going to use digested pure fish manure, and then we're going to grow using standard hydroponics as a control. So this will be just a double poly inflated greenhouse, 30 by 50. We might experiment with some unusual heating schemes using some of the water as a heat sink. Other than that, the main other thing that we're doing is we're hoping to test whether we can remove a significant amount of nutrients from the water. If we can remove a lot of nutrients from the water, that'll resolve tensions between farms like ours and the DNR, because they can do something that's profitable while also removing their pollutants. So that's sort of a big deal if it works. We don't know if it'll work. That's why we're trying it. Phosphorus is the primary nutrient, both dissolved and suspended phosphorus. Yeah, so total and dissolved phosphorus. There's orthophosphate is the typical term, and then there's total phosphorus. We want to remove both of those. We also want to remove as many solids as we can because they're regulated on solids. There's talk about nitrogen regulations coming down the line at some point, and so we're concerned about that. They have ammonia regulations, but they're not anywhere near their ammonia regulation levels. So, you know, I have friends in the wastewater world, and they're basically all of the mind that there will eventually be a no added nutrients rule for everybody. So this is going to be a place that we're going to end up at some point. So that's what we're hoping we'll accomplish here, at least being able to verify whether one can do these things. If it also proves to be profitable, then we may end up scaling up to be not minuscule anymore and actually grow significant quantities of vegetables.